So that's still, you know, trying to reach out to source, God, whatever, in whatever ways present themselves to you. So I'm curious what your route is actually, because you talk like from your spiritual perspective a lot, but I don't know exactly what it is other than that there's a Talmudic thing involved. So if you'd like to elaborate on your own views, that'd be great for me.
I get mystified by this because in my opinion I'm a pretty mainstream Christian, but it's the way in which I communicate that a lot of people can't seem to see me as one because I talk about all the various types of spirits. I talk about the spirit of confusion, the spirit of pride. You know, the way that I operate on a day to day, I tend to avoid dogmatic or doctrinal discussion. You know, like earlier in the chat, there was somebody insisting that if I don't open up with a prayer, that I'm not coming close to God. But the way that I see it, how could I have outreach with people who believe in shamanism if I open every show with dogmatic? You know what I mean? It's like you're basically waving a flag at the beginning of every show if you say open up to Psalms 11:3, and if we did that, that would be great, like virtue signaling. That'd be a great like insecurity for me to try to be like, because just imagine this. Imagine if every time you turn on this channel, it was me trying to prove to you how close to Jesus I was. And it's like, and let's do that. Can I do that for a second here, Graham? I just want to.
Wait.
I want to
jump in on what you just said.
I want to slow things because Graham, what a real brother in Christ would do.
Oh yeah, lay it on.
What a real brother in Christ would do. He would never let somebody down. You know what I mean? It's like what scratches to the fact that so many different types of people can still hang in there with me is the fact that I try not to put on that sense of false piety or false, humility. False humility is rampant in the Christian church. And that means that you put on this outward exterior of all white and you say, brothers and sisters, we have to keep our flesh pure. And this gentleman came into our church and he is reeking. You know what I mean? It's like, clearly I have those beliefs about staying spiritually pure. But when it comes to the operational day-to-day, like what I can actually do, where I can actually have an influence in this world, my outreach, my influence is in talking about the spiritual mechanics of Jezebel. You've heard me talk about Jezebel?
I have.
Do you think that an occultist...
I don't understand it entirely yet.
Right.
I definitely heard you speak of the spiritual aspect of things, and to me, that translates well into Jungian archetypes because I'm coming off of so much Peterson.
That's really okay. So that's fascinating to me because in my mind, if I can actually make a connection and make an appeal where you open up, say, to the right page in the Bible and you look at because in my mind it's like patterns should ultimately lead a person to these higher truths. Because in one sense, somebody connects to a pattern, and the pattern is like the movie King Arthur, right? In my opinion, that's a superficial pattern. But to somebody else,
like the hero's journey,
or even the Matrix, like I don't, I try not to put my beliefs on the nose because it's insulting to those video makers directly, but it comes out. The people who talk about the Mandela effect and just use the movie The Matrix as their foundation in which to speak, I don't really have much respect for those people. Do you know why?
Because you're...
Say it. Why, that's fine. No, I think it's good if that kind of stuff comes out. Because as a child, people are blank slates, and then they're influenced by whatever, what we were talking about with video games earlier, right? The majority of people who are making those videos on YouTube, can we not say that they were blank slates at some point? And like a computer, they were programmed with images and sound bites with the actor Keanu Reeves. Just like a computer, the same people who are calling people NPCs, there's one set of data points that we can connect back to and say, all of these people were inspired by the same movie. All of these people are making this the foundation on which they're building their church. But meanwhile, the people who are building their church on the Bible, you know, they're so ignorant, they're so naive. I mean, I'm just saying it's a really weird coincidence that Gnostics and shamans tend to, it's not like they're divided on the topic and they say, well, the 13th floor is my movie. Like, all of them have this one movie that really speaks to them and inspires them. And I just think it's weird. Like, I just think it's like a weird coincidence. And what I'm saying is, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think a spirit actually entered many of those people.
See, and you'd say that a spirit entered most. I would say that that's part of MK Ultra-ish programming. I don't know what the call sign for it is.
Which is almost, I mean, that's almost identical, really. I mean, it's kind of hard to hash it out, right? But it's like, what's the difference? I mean, MK Ultra kind of is. It's like the splitting of a mind. So the splitting of a mind, does that mean that they have two minds? Who's the other mind? Who's the other person? So I just, this is a good example, and it kind of feels like it's breaking down, but in my opinion, it's not really. Like, this is just kind of hashing out and negotiating somebody who comes from more of the shamanism point of view.